Hunter Biden?
Before I left the White House.
And do you recall the content of that
I do
conversation?
not, no.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris?
Before I left the White House.
So while you were at the PAC supporting
At the
Harris's-
Super PAC, I did not speak with her, no.
Okay. And do you recall what that conversation was?
I don't.
Second gentleman, Doug Emhoff?
Okay. Before I left the White House.
And do you recall the conversation?
No, I don't.
Ron Klain?
Let's see. I spoke with Ron last year. I'm not sure. Earlier this year, to get the address of his daughter who had a baby.
So that the content of your conversation was
Nothing
personal
to do
matter?
with this investigation. No.
Jeff Zients?
6 or 7 months ago, nothing to do with this investigation.
These are all to the best of your recollection.
Yes, all to the best of my recollection.
Difficult memory test. Okay.
Yes.
Mike Donnellan?
To the best of my recollection, I last spoke with him in the spring about an intern he wanted to place from Harvard, from his IOP class.
To the PAC?
No, he wanted ideas.
Okay.
Why don't we just keep it to not related to the investigation?
Okay, not really, I'm sorry.
It'll get us through
Too much
faster.
information, okay.
Bruce Reed?
Not since I left the White House,
And,
to the best of my recollection.
and do you recall
I don't.
what the conversation was about?
No, I don't.
Jen O'Malley Dillon?
Shortly after the campaign ended,
President Biden's campaign?
no, shortly after, so in November of 2024.
And do you recall the content of that conversation?
So, too bad.
So
Not related to this investigation.
Anthony Bernal?
Not since I left the White House, to the best of my recollection.
And same question, do you
No.
recall what the
No, I don't.
conversation was about?
Nothing related to this.
Annie Tomasini?
Not since I left, to the best of my recollection, and nothing related to this.
Okay. Have you discussed this interview today with anyone other than your counsel?
I mean, obviously, yes. I don't understand the question.
Yeah.
Do you mean other people who are being interviewed by the committee?
Anyone other than your counsel?
You mean the fact that I'm coming in here, or substance?
Have you discussed,
I mean, my granddaughters know I'm coming in here.
I mean, we put out a press release earlier today, so I'm not sure what
Yeah.
have you discussed,
context is.
have you discussed the issues relevant? I'll start again. Have you discussed your testimony in today's interview with anyone other than your counsel?
I don't believe so, except,
You probably have, so
yeah,
why
I
don't we
probably
just say
have.
yes?
Yes, okay.
And who was that?
Okay, so why don't we go off the record?
Can we go off the record for a
Can
second?
we go out for a
Yeah.
Have you discussed your testimony in this interview today with anyone other than your counsel or your family?
Nothing substantive.
Ms. Dunn, did you ever believe that Karine Jean-Pierre should leave the White House?
I don't remember. Karine was a valued member of the staff.
Did you ever advocate for her firing?
I do not believe I ever advocated to fire Karine.
Did you ever work to find a graceful exit for Ms. Pierre?
I'm
I feel
not
like
sure
this is
what this
really-
has to do with anything.
I think, I'm not sure I'm not sure what topic we're even on at this point, but it certainly doesn't have anything to do with the president's cognitive health. Now we're doing personnel decisions at the White House.
which are relevant to the president's doing his job.
You think that there's, I don't understand. Please explain the nexus.
Sure, the president running the White House is part of the president's job, and I'm trying to understand this personnel decision, whether it was clear, whether the president actually was the person who decided, or there were other people who contributed to her departure.
I don't understand.
I'm sorry, can you
think
answer? Can you
only
answer?
the president makes decisions about people leaving? I don't understand. How
But,
about,
but Karine didn't depart the White House until the end.
Sure, but did you ever advocate for her to do that?
Are you
again, that's,
asking, did she advocate related to the subject matter of your investigation?
I'm asking if she ever advocated for Ms. Jean-Pierre to leave the White House.
And I think all we're asking you
Okay.
to do is articulate a connection between that question.
Well, if the
And the
answer
subject
is,
matter.
the answer is yes, I'll have follow-up questions. If the answer is no, then I won't.
hold on. This is
Yeah.
so far outside of the field of the topic. I have no idea what we're talking about. Do you want to talk in the room? I don't know what we're talking about. Literally
I'm
don't.
not sure what we're talking about
Yeah.
either, but can you go over
Yeah.
here for
Give
just
us
1
2
second?
minutes. Sure.
Yeah.
We can go over
Yeah.
Ms. Dunn, I'll ask the question again.
Yes.
Did you advocate for Ms. Jean-Pierre to leave the White House?
No, I did not advocate for Karine Jean-Pierre to leave the White House.
Okay, she had something else she just wanted to explain.
I'm sorry, I also want to clarify that on the question of discussing this investigation, I did have someone I work with proofread and fact check my opening statement.
Someone fact check, someone with knowledge of
No,
No, but
fact check, meaning,
fact check, just going through the facts that I'd put in it, the things from Martha Kumar, that kind of thing, to make sure that we had the backup for those statements.
I'm sorry, who are we talking about?
We're talking about Jordan Finkelstein, who works with me. Okay, and he just proofread it for me, so. I did not discuss the substance of this with him.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much. We'll go off the record.
You said in your role, the president got a lot of requests for interviews, correct?
that's correct.
And because of the president's time, he couldn't do every single interview, correct?
Yes,
Did you ever prevent President Biden from doing an interview because you were concerned about his mental acuity?
no,
And the reason why you turned down interviews were because,
because we had so many demands on his schedule, I had to fight for as much time as I could get.
So throughout the day, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about whether you could recall or whether President Biden made annotations on his debate prep materials. We talked about where your husband might have been in a given weekend in July. Turns out he was in New York. We've talked about whether the White House made President Biden available or was willing to make him available to Fox Sports for an interview around the Super Bowl. We've talked about a range of polling. We've talked about whether people from the outside world contacted you with concerns after the president's debate with President Trump. We've talked about your various jobs throughout the 1980s. Is there anything we've talked about today that changes the views and opinions you have expressed in your opening statement?
Nothing.
So just to be clear, none of these things we've talked about today changes your testimony that the president was, he made all of the important decisions expected of someone serving as president of the United States.
That's my testimony.
That's right. He relied on senior advisors to execute his priorities and manage the day-to-day operations that allow the White House to run effectively. But your testimony is still, his authority and involvement in decision-making was clear.
That's correct. Yes.
In your experience.
In your experience. Nothing we've talked about changes your experience that President Biden's ability to probe, to find the weakness in an argument, to make well-informed decisions did not change during your time in the White House, correct?
That was certainly my experience.
You know, I do think your counsel the last hour may have inquired whether we were still on topic, given the topic maybe being what was sent to you in the letter from Chairman Comer on June 4th, potentially on this June 24th letter from the White House counsel's office, which I would just note refers to both the interview and the deposition, so there may be an error there. I think we should just quickly just go back to the topics in those letters to you. The letter to you does mention possibly usurping the authority of the former president, talks about exercising the powers of the executive branch. I'm paraphrasing very slightly here. These are terms that are not defined in the letter to you, either letter to you. So it just may be useful to quickly go through some of the president's enumerated powers in Article 2 of the Constitution, which I'm happy to share with you. I think you could also count on your lawyers to object if for some reason I am misparaphrasing something or not. We do have copies. But
Oh, I'm sorry. You
You'd
think
like it?
I have memorized Article 2 of the Constitution? I have not. I'll be fair to both sides.
here you go.
Read along.
And just in case you would like the 25th Amendment, please to Suzanne.
Thank you.
All right. So
I'm not as good of a lawyer as you thought I was.
So we will go through some of the enumerated powers in Article 2 of the Constitution, given that the letters you received from the White House and Chairman Comer mention executive power, potentially unconstitutional assertion of executive power by White House advisors. Did you personally act as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces?
No,
Did you personally grant reprieves in pardons?
no,
Did you personally make any international treaties?
no,
Did you personally nominate and appoint any ambassadors,
no,
cabinet secretaries,
no,
judges,
no,
or other Senate-confirmed officials?
no,
Did you personally convene both houses of Congress?
no,
Did you disguise yourself as President Biden and give 3 State of the Union addresses?
no,
In your view, did President Biden faithfully execute the office of President of the United States?
yes,
And in your view, did he, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States?
yes.
We're off the record.